Welcome to Training in Instructional Design. This will be a lecture on building an effective PowerPoint presentation. This is Lecture A. The learning objectives for the Building an Effective PowerPoint Presentation unit are: Number 1, constructing a script or storyboard for a presentation. Number 2, designing a custom slide background for a training program. Number 3, demonstrating the appropriate use of color and text in a presentation. Number 4, embedding graphics and videos in a presentation. Number 5, demonstrating the appropriate use of builds and actions. Number 6, using the PowerPoint graph and chart functions for designing instructional materials. And 7, demonstrating how to deliver an effective PowerPoint presentation.
Units 1 through 4 of this component taught you how to identify the goals for your presentation, and then define specific learning objectives based on the needs analysis, while understanding the constraints of your audience and training environment. Your next step is to use this information to create an effective training presentation. In this unit, we will use Microsoft's PowerPoint presentation software to build a multimedia training slide deck. Collect your visuals. Before you begin to design your presentation, you should collect all the images, logos, graphics, videos, and other graphic objects that you want to include in the presentation. These may include some screen captures of the EHR, or videos showing how to use particular features of the EHR. It is helpful for new trainers to develop a graphic outline of the presentation before jumping right into the PowerPoint presentation. This text or graphic outline of the presentation will help you organize the presentation in a logical sequence and prevent you from getting distracted by the fonts, colors, animations, and other decorative features of PowerPoint. The traditional storyboard is similar to a comic strip. You can use 3x5 cards or Post-it notes to represent each slide in your PowerPoint deck. The small format prevents you from writing too many words on the slide. You can sketch images or notes about pictures and moves too. This can be done individually or in small groups. The process of visual thinking and planning allows a group of people to brainstorm together, placing their ideas on storyboards and then arranging the storyboards on a whiteboard or conference room wall. This approach fosters more ideas and generates consensus inside the group. Once you develop a logical organization for your presentation, you can start to build a more detailed outline or the actual text. Remember, if you can't fit all the words on the 3x5 cards, you have too many words for a PowerPoint slide, and you might want a handout to convey that information. The storyboard format is a good method to plan a training video too. Use each card or box to represent a scene or specific segment of your training video. An alternative to storyboarding or outlining on paper is to use mind mapping software to quickly generate your presentation ideas. It's useful to use this methodology if you get stuck thinking and can't see the logical sequence of the presentation. There are many free mind mapping programs you can try, and these graphic brainstorming software applications will produce traditional outlines too. To get you started, you can try FreeMind at freemind.sourceforge.net/wiki/index.php/main_page or View at view.tufts.edu. Here are a couple simple rules to keep in mind as you create your presentation. Think of PowerPoint as a container for all your text, graphics, movies, hyperlinks, but only include one message or idea on each slide. If you are comparing or contrasting two ideas, that is still one concept, and PowerPoint even has a slide format for that. Keep it simple. It's easy to start including lots of ideas on your first slide, but you don't want to have to put it all on one slide. A PowerPoint presentation can contain as many slides as you need to tell your story. Use short bullets instead of complete sentences, so the audience can quickly scan the slide and then listen to you. Try to use active and direct language, nouns and verbs. Including simple illustrations and pictures will keep your audience engaged as you give your presentation, but make sure the image is relevant to the slide topic, or you will distract the learner. And remember that information that is too long or complex to fit on a slide can be given out as a handout or hyperlink. As a general rule, you can plan for 45 to 60 seconds of speaking per slide. If you have 50 slides for a 20-minute presentation, you'll overwhelm your audience. Keep in mind the company or institution brand when thinking about creating a design template. Many schools have an official school color scheme that they would like faculty to use when representing the school. Usually they will have a site for you to get templates and logos. Think about how the audience is going to view your presentation. Colors that display well on your monitor might not look the same when displayed using an LCD projector. Sometimes colors, such as red-colored text, will appear less or more saturated and lose your desired effect and become harder to read on the screen. Also, your presentation may be compressed or reduced in size, so it is important that your text is able to be read at the target display size. 18-point font size is about the smallest size that you want on your slide. You can either edit to reduce the amount of text or make 2 or more slides to accommodate the text. Try to create slides with high contrast between text and background. As a general rule, you should plan on speaking for 1 minute per each slide. If you have 60 slides for a 20-minute presentation, you will overwhelm and confuse your learners. In this section, we will introduce you to the basic features of PowerPoint, but you will not be an expert. You will need to practice building presentations and delivering the training material. While PowerPoint presentations are useful for training large groups or presenting an overview of a system, you should use other materials when presenting to individuals or a couple people in an information clinical setting. Also, remember to make your training active. The learner should also use the system, not just watch a video or see a couple screenshots. A PowerPoint presentation can be a part of your training, but it should not be all of your training. There is a short tutorial written by Microsoft to get you started using PowerPoint 2007. This can be viewed online or printed. The topics covered in this online guide are: familiarize yourself with the PowerPoint workspace, name and save your presentation, add, rearrange, and delete slides, add and format text, apply a more appropriate look to your presentation, add clip art, smart art graphics, and other objects, add hyperlinks, check the spelling and preview your presentation, learn about preparing to deliver your presentation. Begin building a presentation using the blank presentation format. This allows you to concentrate on putting the content of the presentation on the slides quickly without worrying about the look and style. Use the slide layouts for all your slides. Notice that there are different layouts for title slides, section header slides, slides that compare two concepts, and general text slides. You can change the layout of an individual slide at any time as you work on your presentation. By adding text and other content to the slide placeholder, you can easily format your text, color, and font style later in the design part. At this stage, you can drop in your images and video too. PowerPoint design themes control the background colors and shapes, font color and size, and font and colors for all your charts and graphs. This way, your presentation will look professional. There are many design themes already in PowerPoint, and you can find other themes online that have been designed by professional graphics designers. Until you become a PowerPoint expert, you should rely on the themes provided with PowerPoint. Check with your corporate offices to see if they have a PowerPoint theme. To add style to your presentation, click on the Design tab and choose a theme. The themes can be edited from the Format menu. There are two basic types of fonts, serif and sans serif. Serifs are the little curls and embellishments at the tips of each line or stroke. Sans, French for without, serif, are plain fonts, and the lines or strokes have no curls. Serif fonts are used primarily for reading long passages of text, as in printed materials in books and journals. For on-screen reading, it is important to keep your text to a minimum and use sans serif fonts. To give you an idea how fonts display on screen, take a look at the variations between these two fonts. For on-screen display, I prefer to use sans serif fonts like Arial, Helvetica, Verdana, because they are a little easier to read on the screen. Remember that you don't want to put a lot of text on your slides. Only the important points, and use links for the audience to get additional information. Cross-platform presentations, sharing between Mac and Windows, present a different problem. The fonts that you used in a PowerPoint presentation in one platform might not be available on the viewer's computer. If the font is not available, PowerPoint will open the presentation and substitute the original font for a similar font on the user's computer. This usually shows up as missing or misaligned bullets and text. The best way to avoid this problem is to not use Mac or Windows-specific fonts. Safe fonts to choose are Arial, Comic Sans, Courier, Courier New, Georgia, Helvetica, Tahoma, Times, Times New Roman, Trebuchet MS. Make sure that you use the slide layout to place all of your text, charts, graphs, and images. This will ensure that the formatting will be applied when you apply the slide theme. You can continue creating new slides for each major point in your presentation, and in the next section of this unit, we will learn how to use charts and images in PowerPoint.
This concludes the lecture on building an effective PowerPoint presentation. The summary of this lecture is that you should be able to use the principles of effective PowerPoint design, given a particular training program and learner population, through the following objectives. Number 1, constructing the script or storyboard for a presentation. Number 2, designing a custom slide background for a training program. And number 3, appropriately using color and text in a presentation.